Hi, I'm Shirley.
I'm Kyle.
And we're from the Healthy Lifestyles team with North Lincolnshire Council. Kyle's not got much cooking experience, so I'm going to go through this recipe step by step so you know how to cook it. And before we've started today, we've cleaned down the surface with antibacterial to make sure everything's clean, and we've washed our hands before we start cooking.
Yes.
So we're going to make the mince beef base, and we've got the mince beef, some cooking oil, some garlic and some onions. So now we're going to chop the onion into small pieces. So we're going to use two techniques when we're doing this, called the bridge and the claw.
Okay.
So I'm going to start by cutting off the top of the onion, then cutting it in half, and then we're going to just quickly peel the skin off, but we leave the root on as that helps.
Okay.
Now, using the bridge method, which is putting your hands on either side of the onion, I'm going to just slice down several times and then turn the onion and cut, and that makes our small pieces moving towards the root. So you can see today I've used a large onion and two small onions, as they do all come in different sizes, so it's up to you what you want to use. Some people find it easier to cook smaller onions than the large ones, so just see what's available at your local shop and buy what you prefer, really. So next, Kyle, we're going to move over to the hob, and we're going to get the oil, put some oil in the hob and heat it up to a medium heat, and then we're going to gently cook the onions until they're translucent. Okay. So we're going to measure the oil into the pan, Kyle. So I've got some measuring spoons here, and we're going to measure just 1 teaspoon of vegetable oil into the pan. And then we're going to turn the hob onto a medium heat and just heat the oil up before we put the onions in to cook them. Okay, Kyle, so the pan's heated up and the oil's heated up nicely, so if you could pass me the onions and we'll get them popped in.
Yeah, sure.
Thank you. And if we just put them in gently, make sure you've got a wooden spoon or spatula holding the pan handle. Just stir them round so they get coated with the oil. And then we're going to cook these for quite a few minutes now to make them nice and soft and translucent. And it's probably best to keep stirring them so they don't stick. Okay, Kyle, so now we're going to add some garlic puree to the onions and cook that off for a few minutes. So if you could just pass me that, please. Thank you. And this puree is really useful because it saves cutting up garlic cloves. And I'm going to measure a dessert spoon using the measuring spoon. So just squeeze it in like so, and then drop it in to the onions and stir it, and that gives it a really nice flavour for the base. Okay, Kyle, so these onions are nice and soft now, so if you pass me the mince beef and we'll get that in the pan. Now just be careful doing this. I've made a bit of a hole in the centre. I'm going to tip it in, and then there's always a bit of paper, so make sure you take that paper off. If you could pop that down, thank you. Now the mince beef we're using today, Kyle, is 5% British mince beef. This is the healthier option because it has less fat in. And I'm just going to break it up, and you can hear it sizzling. And this pan is on a medium-high heat because what we want to do is just cook it gently. Just going to brown this mince beef off. So as you can see, it's slowly changing colour from pink, and what we want to get it to is a really nice dark brown. So Kyle, finally what we're going to add to this base is just a pinch of black pepper. Just for some more flavour. So Kyle, this is looking really good now. It looks cooked and ready. There's no pink in the minced beef, it's all brown. And this base, with the quantities we've cooked today, can form the base for 4 batch meals. The important thing we do is make sure before we store it that the meat is completely cold. So make sure it cools down, then it can be stored either in the fridge, in boxes, or it can go into the freezer to be used at a later date.